Welcome everyone to the ShockCast episode 7. I'm your host Luke and Taldi. Today we're already dealing with a host of technical difficulties behind the scenes, so if anything wrong happens, you'll be the first to know. Anyway, welcome. Today's episode is we're doing E3 predictions a little bit early, but we want to be the first people on the scene for that. Joining me today is Ryan Meitzler. How you doing, Ryan?
Good. How are you guys? And Lou, technical difficulties are only in your mind, so don't worry about them.
Okay, it's just like the voices.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Also joining us today, ready to fire us all, is Giuseppe Nelva.
Hello, everyone.
Awesome. All right. So, of course, ShockCast Live goes live every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, of course, because we all, for the most part, are on the East Coast. Join, come comment with us and do this whole live streaming thing. We do a lot of giveaways. This week we're giving out, I believe it's a beta, and it's to anyone who joins, anyone who comments, anyone who wants it. What's the beta for, Ryan?
So this is from our friends at Next in America. They're giving us closed beta keys for their upcoming MMORPG Riders of Icarus, which starts its closed beta tomorrow, and it'll be running from June 7th. We've got a lot of codes to give away. Obviously, we'll give some tonight, and then we'll be giving some out later on this week on the site as well.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for all of them for doing that. Okay, so what have you guys been playing? Giuseppe, what have you been playing this week?
I've still been playing quite a bit of Total War Warhammer, and then I've been playing way too much of Stellaris. It's like the end of your life. Don't do it. If you ever think let's play don't. Then it takes your life and chews it up and spits it out. It's like the typical game that's like one more turn, but it doesn't have turns, so it's worse. So
Right.
It's like one more minute, and then it's 4 in the morning, and then you say one more minute, and then it's 12 in the morning the day after.
Right.
So yeah, it's like lethal.
Now, Total War's still been doing as well as it was for you when it first came out. It's got
Sure.
that replayability.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Ryan, Graxiplon over in the comments says, I've been playing some Overwatch. Anyone else? Have you been playing any Overwatch?
Have I been playing Overwatch? Yes, I have been playing a lot of Overwatch. Pretty much consumed a lot of my weekends because I went home over the Memorial Day weekend, so I was without with Overwatch for like 4 days, so I definitely felt some withdrawal going on. So last night I just played for like 3 hours. So I played a lot of Overwatch. Yeah, that's been mostly that, and we'll talk about it later. Kirby Planet Robobot.
Nice. Who's your main character been? Who have you been maining, so to speak?
I don't know. It's been tough. I've kind of been jumping around and playing as a lot of different characters. Right now, I'm really liking D.Va a lot, so I'm trying to play her more and get better with.
Everyone loves D.Va.
I do like D.Va. She's a lot of fun to play as. I'm trying to get better with Reaper because I really like him, but he's kind of a hard character to use for me, I think. So I'm trying to get a little bit better with him.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, we'll talk about who I main later. We're going to do some Overwatch talk. We have a bit in the review discussion section. I myself have been doing a lot of studying, but besides that, I've been playing LetterQuest lately, which is odd. For those of you who don't know what LetterQuest is, it was kind of like a stealth PSN title that came out, and it's if you mixed Scrabble with some weird Grim Reaper cartoon. And it's a lot more fun than that makes it sound like. But that review is going to come up soon. Besides that, I've also been working a little bit on Smite and doing a ton of Overwatch. Just loads of Overwatch. All right, so we're going to go straight into the news. We're going to keep the same format as we did last week, where we started and we only really did one news story, but we got to talk about it in depth. And also, like last week, we're just going to go straight into it because we ended the podcast last week with this news because it was just coming out as a rumor then. I believe so, right, Giuseppe? You mentioned it right at the end of the podcast. No Man's Sky got delayed, and it was officially a rumor at the time, written by Kotaku, who had gotten it from an unnamed source that they trust. It ended up becoming real. They published it on the PlayStation blog, and it was later confirmed by everyone on the developing studio. So let's just talk about that. The delay's about 2 months. Can you guys wait 2 months?
Sure, why not?
Right. Yeah. There's I mean, there's a lot of games coming out, of course. We have E3 coming up. So 2 months seems like a big deal now, but I bet in 2 weeks it won't. So Ryan, did you hear about the death threats?
Briefly, yeah. I had heard a little bit about it. Mostly thinking that it's kind of ridiculous because I feel like if you can't wait for a video game for 2 more months, then I think you need to get your priorities checked a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's really, I guess that's my thought on it mostly. So.
Right, and this is of course subsections of the community.
That's not part of any community actually. That's simply the internet. People.
Right.
There is a large amount of people on the internet, and between the large amount of people in the internet, there is bound to be some assholes. So that's the same for every kind of industry and every kind of community or anything. It sucks. There are people that are going to go that far, but probably going to be like 12 years old that have been grown up on something really silly, and it happens. There are like million of people on the internet, and there's going to bound to be someone, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not part of any community, and I think it's actually disingenuous. The fact that some try to make it sound like something that's peculiar of gaming or anything actually bound to gaming. It has nothing to do with gaming. It has to do with the internet and with having any sort of visibility. It sucks that it happens, but it's. I mean, I've been working in a few different industries, and I've seen people with any kind of visibility getting this kind of treatment in any situation. It's not good. I mean, it's not something that we can say it's acceptable or anything, or something that should happen. But it happens just because it's in low big numbers. That's something that it's going to happen, and it's not something that it's gaming wise anything specific or peculiar.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, actually, that this isn't something that's fully specific. And I think that maybe there were some inflammatory websites and blogs that did speak about it, like this is something that's only in the gaming community, but it's not. I mean, if you write a piece in the article that people deathly, in the newspaper that people deathly disagree with, you're going to get death threats. It's kind of how a lot of the worldwide community is. It is very polarized right now, so this isn't something just specific to video games. Awful nonetheless. I think that it was mispainted in some way to sound like gamers are inherently more violent, or fans of this game maybe are inherently more violent. I don't think that's really the case.
Absolutely not. And that's actually probably the opposite, because if you look at places like sports, for instance, where you actually see people beating each other in the stadiums, that's quite a lot worse. I mean, I'm in Italy. Here, or like if you look at in the UK or something like that. I don't know how it is in the US with football or something like that. But if you look at soccer or football, however you want to call it, you see people actually beating each other, shooting each other over it and stuff like that. You don't hear that happening over games. That's simply a matter of fact. The matter is simply a matter of big numbers. And when you are accessible, I mean, I get death threats almost daily, but I used to do it. When I worked in other industries. I used to work in the anime industry, and I got them daily. And if it's not that threat, sometimes it's abuse and insults and calling me all sorts of name, calling me a fag, which is the stupid idiot idea way to that thinking like on the internet. That's pretty much the standard go-to insult that shouldn't be an insult to begin with.
Right.
But I've been called like that for like years over years, and over every job I had, basically any sorts of like visibility. I worked in fashion web marketing, and I got that right there too. And fashion, what the hell, you know? And that happens. I have a friend who works with a sneaker company.
Hmm.
Like, actually a pretty big sneaker company. Just think one of the. I'm not gonna name, but it's one of the biggest ones.
Okay.
Shoes.
We could all guess.
And it's like it is a mid-level executive, so it is pretty visible,
Hmm.
and he gets more the trust than I get, and that's because he's more visible than I am. And
Right.
in the internet, there is bound to be some idiot. There is no way it's going to avoid it, and of course we should all say we should all like disapprove, but unless you purge humanity, there is no. It's not something that you're associated with games. It's something you're associated with the humanity on the internet. Like there was that old meme that's very true. That humanity plus anonymity create stupidity. There
Right.
is very little to do about that. Luckily, most of these things come from like very mature idiots that are like 12 and probably never gonna do anything about it. Just it's just a way to vent their anger. And it's
Right.
probably anger that's not about the topic at hand. It's probably anger about their life in general that gets put into the topic that happens to make them explode. But that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those are all very salient points. I want to talk a little bit about the delay itself.
Yeah,
Now,
let's talk about that, which is more important.
right. Now, this has No Man's Sky has a storied history. Not so much with delays because really it was announced in 2013 and went along as normal without having any date set. They announced it, I believe, only last month, right, Giuseppe? Or was it 2 months?
It was
Mm,
like, I think it was like about 2 months ago or
also,
somewhat
yeah.
that it was originally
Release it.
supposed to be June 21st was the original release date. So it was
Right.
right around the corner, which I think didn't really help that people got mad because it was literally about 3 weeks away from release when they announced this.
Right.
Yeah, but at least the good thing is it's not a super long delay. It's not like they delayed it 6 months or anything crazy like that.
Right. But I think it is worth noting that it is still a somewhat substantial delay.
Right,
We
yeah.
see SteamWorld Heist, for instance, got a delay last week, and it got delayed a week. They had some small fixes, and it's on a scale just monumentally smaller of a game than No Man's Sky is going to be. But do you think that this is something they knew about for a while, or is this something that they just discovered?
They said clearly that it was decided the day after. It was finalized the day after. So when they knew that, they told you. And
Right.
very simply, a delay is like inconsequential. People get angry about it, get upset about it, and that's irrational. Because you're gonna play the game. It's not like you're not gonna play the game. You're gonna play it 2 months after. And so what's the
Right.
problem? It's not like you're not gonna be able to play it anymore because if it's 2 months after or 1 month after, it nothing changes for you really. Actually, the only thing that changes for you, you're gonna get a better product.
Right.
So because more time iterating the problem automatically means better product. Uh, so yeah, what's the problem about it?
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, and I think something else that I thought funny, specifically about No Man's Sky, is this was one of the games that I remember vividly people just needing a date for. I remember, because maybe it's been in the public image for years now, and I remember people clamoring about this date, more so than many other games. Um, and it just, I don't know. I think I don't know if they rushed it all to give a date for that reason, because I know that people were getting towards those later months without a date, were getting pretty hostile about it. Did think that maybe it was canceled or they weren't hearing enough about it. So I'm worried that at first the community may have somewhat rushed it, or rushed the developers along in providing a date when they may not have been certain. But
no, I
you
don't
don't
think
think
that's the
that you
problem.
don't think that's true at all?
Absolutely not. They simply there is a very simple and very like normal concept in the gaming industry. Uh, Release dates are given normally when when the developer and the publisher are reasonably confident that they're going to hit a certain date.
Hmm.
But then shit happens. Game
Right.
development is very 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 uh, volatile. There are things that happen, and the only moment in which the developer is really kind of sure that it's going to hit a certain date, it's when the game gets gold. But they cannot really just announce it when it goes gold, because they have a whole process, a whole marketing process, a whole sales project to get started. So they have to make a prediction, and at times it happens. I mean, even after a game goes gold, while you do more testing, it can happen. You find something really terrible, and you have to delay it. It happened in the past.
Right.
So game development is simply very complex, and in a very complex process, shit happens, and No Man's Sky is made by a very small team, and it's a very complex project. So it's normal that it has even more chances than other games to have shit happening, and shit happened.
Right.
And it's not a big shit, luckily. I mean, they had big shit happening. They had their office flooded, and
Yeah.
it's still coming out. So,
Yeah, well,
so
forgot about
let's
that.
be happy that it's still coming out. That they didn't give up when their office got flooded and the computer got destroyed and stuff like
Right.
that. You know?
Yeah.
I think especially too, given that Hello Game, like Hello Games is not a very big studio. I think they're only about like a dozen people, maybe more. Like they're not like the same scale, I'm sure, as like a Naughty Dog or a much bigger studio.
It's a
like
small
that.
indie studio.
Yeah, yeah. But I just wanted to bring up too that Dalo brought up a good point in the comments. I think he said in his comment that the problem is that everyone is getting tired of one title after another that's getting delayed. Especially on the PlayStation side, everything always gets delayed. Um, so I think maybe that there is maybe some sort of perception thing where it just seems like delays are becoming a bit more of a constant, especially in the last generation or two, where we've seen a lot of these major titles getting delayed. Like we just saw that with Uncharted getting last minute delays. So I don't know, is that maybe just more of a perception thing where it just seems like everything is getting a delay more commonly?
Well, there are games are getting more common, more complex. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
more complexity, more chances for shit happening, and shit is happening. It's happening on the other side too. I mean, and pretty substantial delays too, like Quantum Break, like in all sides actually. And the games that are not getting delayed are are the least complex games. Like
Right.
if you see like Nintendo games that are normally a lower degree of complexity, get less delays. So on the other hand, the more complex games get more delays, but that's pretty proportional to how many moving parts you have. Depends on how much delay, how much you have a risk of delay. Like any machine with moving parts. If you follow F1, they're very complex machines and they break often.
Right.
On the other hand, if you watch the Nürburgring 24 hour, they are also machines, but they are simpler. So they can run 24 hours without breaking down as much as Formula One cars. If you put Formula One cars running for 24 hours, probably no one of them would get to the end of the race.
Right. Okay. So I think that's actually a good place to just end it there. I think those were all great points. We have the real meat and potatoes left for the show, where it's E3 predictions. We got to talk E3. June 1st is here, and everyone, at least in my Twitter feed, everyone in my Facebook feed, is already getting excited for E3. There's a lot of talk already. So we're going to...
I'm not excited.
You're not? No, well, you have to work.
It really means a lot of work.
Yeah.
I actually love the days after E3 a lot more, so I get to actually enjoy the news for the first time.
Right. Yeah, but for...
Like, I have a little secret. Like 2 days or 3 days after E3, I actually rewatch the conference as a whole because I can sit down like at 3 in the morning. Oops.
Oh.
Did I die?
Yeah.
Oh, my camera died. Back coming. I'm coming.
All right.
I don't know why. But yeah, I can sit down at 2 or 3 in the morning and rewatch the whole conferences and say, oh, now I can finally enjoy this. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay,
We're all
good.
back.
Sorry. But yeah. Yeah, 3. Let's talk about it.
All right. Jesus, 1 second. All right, so
What's
E3, yeah, right now it's telling us we have to get Skype Premium to make a video call, which isn't true. We've been doing video calls this whole time.
Yeah, are we in
There we
video?
go.
Because I
No,
can see it.
now we're good. We're good. We're fine.
Okay, perfect.
We were just kind of like grayed out for a bit. Everyone who's watching right now just saw it happen on my side, at least.
That was Skype's attempt to try and shake us of money, basically. Just taking us by the pants and then just shaking us upside down. Like,
That's
yeah,
Microsoft.
basically.
Technical difficulties. It's the theme of the show besides E3. Anyway, we're
I
gonna
thought
talk.
there are no technical difficulties for a tree.
Oh,
Like, demos not working, freezing, people falling through the word.
that could be the first prediction, I think.
Yeah, who is going to have their demo not work on the show? I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
I hope there's a joke about the Uncharted demo from last year. Like this year, they do a demo where the character just sits there for a minute.
They
just
actually
not doing
did a
anything.
joke about that in the game, and like they have a trophy.
In the trophies, yeah.
I got that trophy, and I got very excited when I got that trophy. It's great. So,
Get excited very easily.
Right.
So let's see. Who should we start from? Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo? Well, is there Nintendo still this tree? Anyway, yeah.
We could talk Nintendo because Nintendo's going to be the short one. They've already
Zelda.
They've
That's it.
you see a lot of Zelda. That's about it. So.
Yeah, is that real? Like, do you think that they're actually sticking with that? That's all that's really going to be shown?
Well, they say that to investors. So unless they lie to investors, which in some countries is kind of like legally persecutable, like you could actually get fined for that.
Right.
Yeah.
That for surely not gonna like talk about the NX because they say they want
Right.
to investors. So and I think my camera died again.
Yes, but the format's still fine.
Yeah, okay, but I'm putting it back up again. Anyway, yeah, they say it to investors, so they're kind of legally bound to what they say to investors, because there is some. I mean, you're an attorney or something like that, so you probably studied it, and you are legally bound to tell the truth to investors, because otherwise you could influence like the stock market with what you say, and undue influence on the stock market is not good. I mean, you can try to bend the truth in a way that is still truth legally, but it's something that not a good idea to do.
Right.
So yeah, if they say that there won't be an accident, an X2 E3 won't be shown in E3, they won't. And I don't think they lie to analysts and investors just for the sake of surprising us.
Right. Well.
So yeah, they're gonna have Zelda. They're gonna have some other games. It's gonna be focused on that. There's gonna be more.
Right.
Probably gonna be 3DS and Wii U games, and maybe some cross-generation games. But we're gonna see the Wii U part. We're not gonna see the NX part.
Right. Yeah, that all makes sense. I agree with that. My question is, what are they gonna show? Like, how do they energize the base of Nintendo fans to go get Wii U or 3DS games anymore? Because there is still a small but active community of Wii U players, 3DS players more so. What do you think they could be announcing, Ryan?
I don't know. I mean, because basically the whole entirety of their E3 is going to be focused around Zelda, which is cool in one sense that we'll get kind of this big info, almost kind of like what we ended up getting with Fallout 4 from Bethesda, where we just kind of got this big. They showed this, like half hour just kind of info dump, and Zelda, we're gonna get that for a whole day basically, because they're also gonna have the Treehouse Live stream, so you'll basically get to watch it like all throughout the day. But I don't know. I think it's just more weird because I think because Nintendo also has other stuff coming this year too. Like they've got new Pokemon titles. They have other things to show as well. So are you counting, Lou? Of like how many other things?
Yeah, we got one.
Pokemon.
Graxapon over in the comment section says more amiibos.
More amiibos, yeah, always more amiibos. Yeah,
basically become like GameStop. Like now they talk about like collectibles more than games.
Oh,
here's an amiibo! Yay! They're probably gonna show the new Monster Hunter too. When is that gonna come out?
That comes out July, so that's a good time frame for them to do that.
And possibly gonna show the next, like maybe we're gonna get if we're gonna get the Monster Hunter Stories, the JRPG for 3DS, which it actually looks pretty cool. So we may get to see that as well if it's coming west.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a big if, because we don't know, of course. I mean that they're already dragging their feet to bring the normal Monster Hunters that have less localization work to do.
All right.
So
Yeah.
Here's my
Okay.
guess. My guess is we're actually going to hear them talk mobile. We're going to hear because they
Yeah,
they
I
didn't
think
say
that's
anything about that. So we've already
yeah.
know that they're doing Animal Crossing, they're doing Fire Emblem,
hmm
and I think this is the time where they're just kind of looking to fill space. But that's the perfect thing to fill space if you're not talking NX.
And Pokemon Go as well. They
Yeah.
could show
Oh
some of
yeah.
that
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm also excited to see they still have Paper Mario Paint Splash, I believe. Does that sound right?
Is that the Wii U one?
That's the Wii U one.
Okay. Yeah, it's something along those lines. Yeah.
Paint thing, hammers, something.
New Paper Mario. It's yeah. It's like
Yeah, no, the name doesn't matter. I just like Paper Mario games, even if they're the bad ones like Sticker Star. But that's a nightmare for another podcast. Let's move on to something more interesting. We'll talk Microsoft. Microsoft, I think,
Okay.
personally,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but personally, I think that Microsoft has been killing every press conference they've done.
Very good.
Ever since their notorious TV sports press conference. So
Yeah.
they're the one I'm actually most interested to see, even though I'm playing more Sony games.
I play both, and I think they have everything to they all the cards at the moment to do a good one.
Right.
Like they of course they have the big one that is probably going to be the new consoles, slim down Xbox and a new Xbox coming probably next year. So that's going to be probably a big impact in their conference.
Right.
If rumors are true, of course, which I think they are. I mean, I don't know if they're specifically true, like on every detail, but the existence of those consoles is by now all but confirmed. I guess it's not confirmed, but it's something that I'm pretty much sure about, and that's going to be quite a bit of the conference. They're probably gonna have some surprises because they like surprises. So, and honestly, their surprises are pretty difficult to predict. Like last year, they come out with the
backwards
with the
compatibility.
Oh my God,
yes,
that was the
that
best.
was
Yeah,
hard.
that was
right.
like that was probably the biggest surprise there, like that for that entire conference.
One of
Maybe
the
they're
biggest
gonna
I've
have,
seen
like,
ever.
Xbox original Xbox backward compatibility this year. You never know.
Right. Yeah, it could be. I think if I'm have to predict their big reveal, and it's kind of not a big reveal, is I think they may reintroduce Phantom Dust again, maybe with their new developer.
That's possible. Yes, not a big reveal probably.
No,
Yeah.
but definitely something that a lot of fans were asking for. They were upset to see the game go when they was put on hiatus.
Well,
And-
we didn't see much about it, to be honest.
No.
We show like a cinematic about it, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, I don't think that's a big thing in their marketing plans or in their release plans. Probably it's going to be a nice thing to have,
Right.
not something they put much importance on. We're probably gonna see something on the a lot. Well, we're surely gonna see a lot more of Gears of War 4
Yeah.
because they
Oh,
actually like to put if they do like last year. Most of the accent on the E3 conference is gonna be on stuff that comes out this year,
Right,
while
yeah.
they're gonna wait for like Gamescom to show stuff that comes out next year. So we're gonna see probably a lot of things that have been already announced, like Crackdown 3, like
Yeah.
Gears of War 4,
Yeah.
like Halo Wars 2, like Scalebound, which is something that doesn't come out this year, but it's been already announced, so most probably gonna show it more.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm very very excited for personally. Still waiting to play that demo, Microsoft. I know you have it in your servers. I want that
Right.
demo that you have it there playable. I want it. Finally, I've actually talking about things that actually fall through the word. They had their FanFest in Tokyo last year and was there, and they had a dragon fall through the ground there. It was pretty funny
Yeah.
during the live stream. So there actually should be like a video on the site somewhere about that. But it was fun.
Right.
I want to play the demo and I want to actually play the game because that's a game that's really interesting for me. I love dragons, I love fantasy, I love RPGs, and it seems really good. And so I'm expecting them to mostly stick to the known. Of course, there's gonna be some surprises, of course. Obviously, there is always going to be surprises, but I actually expect for E3 at least them to stick to what we already saw, or stuff that's going to come out this year or close to this year, because that's kind of their format nowadays. Stick to this year for E3 and go to the future for Gamescom.
Right. All right, Ryan, what do you want to see?
From Microsoft, I think, like Giuseppe said, like I think especially I'd really love to see more of just a couple of things they announced like within the last year or two, like Recore. I'd really like to see more of that, because I know Recore was one that was kind of on the bubble where they said, oh, it's coming out spring 2016, but obviously that didn't happen. And then
we can still hold on.
Yeah, and then for another like 20 days, but that's not going to happen. And then, so obviously I think that's kind of, then they said like late 2016. So I think that's one that's probably on the bubble between like later this year or like next year sometime. Sea of Thieves, I'd also really like to see. That was probably one of the cooler titles I really enjoyed getting to see last year. So I hope we get to see more of that. I'm kind of hoping, because I really like I think it was last year that they did it at Microsoft's presentation, where they did the big like indie focus section where they brought on the developers and they came out and say, hey, I'm Steve Gaynor from developing Tacoma and things like that. So I think we'll get to see more of them, especially because they have some big ones like Cuphead that are still like,
that's
Cuphead
my favorite.
I can't wait to see more of.
I'm hoping for a date for that.
It's supposed to be this year. Hopefully, like late this year. I think is probably when it's gonna come. But I think we'll definitely see that some more indie focus, especially also with the ID at Xbox, because they've got some big titles coming, like Ark, which is coming out, I believe, this month on. I don't know if that's coming out like full release, or I think that I don't remember if that's like just an early access still on there, whatever. But anyway, I think we'll see more of that. Bringing over, especially because they've been focusing so much on PC. Windows 10 compatibility. So I think we'll definitely see more of that, where they have these kind of early access titles coming to Xbox One.
Right.
So
and Forza probably we're surely gonna get another Forza as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Which is mostly gonna be a Forza Horizon 3. Well, I don't know if the title is gonna be that, but since they pretty much do 1 year Forza Motorsport and 1 year Forza Horizon, this year is Forza Horizon's 3. Turn, which is probably gonna have like the new Lamborghini as a cover card. So we are probably gonna see more of that. I'm actually pretty excited because I love Forza Horizon. It kind of scratched that kind of itches that other driving games don't do, because it's open world. So it's a very different franchise from the usual motorsports lap around the circuit franchise. So gonna probably see the usual car coming down from the ceiling. Probably gonna be a
there goes
a
your video
Lamborghini.
again.
Yeah, I know. I'm reactivating. I don't know why it periodically turns down. Probably when the bandwidth gets limited. I don't know.
Right.
Stupid being in Italy. But yeah, that you're probably gonna see that more. Actually, not probably, for sure. Like no doubt about it.
Right.
I hope to see some surprises from Microsoft. I mean, surely there will be, but I know like last year, like the backwards compatibility really was a big surprise, and I think especially Microsoft last year they had the advantage, like you said, Giuseppe, how they kind of focused on the stuff that was coming like this year. Where last year, like they had the advantage because Sony had kind of a weak year for lineups last year. They didn't really have a ton of these big first-party titles, and Microsoft at their conference last year, they were always console exclusive, Xbox exclusive, blah blah. They were really like hammering that home. So I hope this year they also might get to see some more of that, or really have them pull out some big surprises. And Sony has a much stronger lineup this year of exclusive games, or at least potentially has a much stronger lineup.
We're probably gonna hear about their new VR thing, which is also
HoloLens or
no, they actually have.
They have a separate thing in development.
Plans. Yeah, HoloLens is not VR. HoloLens is AR.
Yeah.
They probably have something planned. There have been some rumors, some little indications, some little web pages that got updated. Today they announced some partnership with HTC and stuff like that, but that's probably about holographics. We're gonna see something probably about like Bound to Scorpio, or however it's gonna be called. And And probably we're gonna hear something more about their integration with Windows as well, because by now everyone knows that they're going to go full throttle there. I
Right.
pretty much expect from now on all big Xbox games to be on PC, which is not a bad thing for me. I mean, for them it's their ecosystem. Their ecosystem is Xbox. People say that PC integration is kind of the death of the Xbox brand, but that's wrong
Hmm.
because PC is the Xbox brand. People don't understand that for them,
Right.
PC gaming on PC is Xbox as
That,
much as gaming of consoles. Xbox by now includes both the console and PC. They're just two faces of the same coin. So we're definitely gonna hear a lot more about Windows games.
mhm.
I have a pipe dream, which is probably not gonna happen.
Okay.
I really would like to see a new Microsoft Flight Simulator come out because I spent inordinate times in inordinate number of hours playing that when I was much younger.
Hmm.
One of the first was actually one of my first reviews. I loved it.
Right.
One of one of my very first games was the first Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it was still in I think it was my Microsoft. It was still in the Spectrum, but it was the first flight simulator game I ever played.
Right.
And
Which would be
you
great
know,
for VR.
yeah, definitely. I still not sold much on VR possibly
Right.
personally. Probably because you know how much I have to be alert for news and stuff like that, and I cannot afford to spend 2 hours
Sucked
into a
into a
VR
machine.
world. Yeah. So yeah, I
Yeah.
probably got even if VR becomes a big thing, I'm probably gonna continue playing on my screen normally.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly hope to see something new about that.
Yeah, I guess quickly, like on that point, that Graxaplon in the comments said, I think we're going to hear about how the Xbox One market, the Xbox Marketplace and Windows Store 10 are merging,
Yeah.
or at least we're going to see some more. I think that makes sense, especially because more recently they've been doing the whole kind of cross-buy type things where it's
Yeah.
buy the Xbox version, you get the PC version, like we saw with Quantum Break and other things. So I think that makes sense.
Which would be
That
good
yeah,
too.
they could actually do that as a regular feature. They kind of enter to it,
Yeah,
like if they go cross buy all the way, I think it's gonna be a good move for them,
Hmm.
and
yeah,
especially with the fact that now PC gaming is gonna get like cheaper, good PC gaming because they just announced uh, like for the high end, Nvidia announced the GTX 1070 and 1080 of course, but it's still like the 1070 at 349 I think. That gives you like a very beefy gaming PC that can run everything, maybe not at 4K, but definitely can run everything you want, and that's an accessible price. Of course, not as low as a console. And then there is the even lower the new RX from NVIDIA RX 490, I think is the number. It just came out. That's like a
Right.
two on the $200 range, and it's a VR
oh,
ready
the
card.
480, yeah.
480, yeah. So that's we're gonna get a lot of cheap or affordable options to get a good gaming PC that can play everything, not a scrap gaming PC. I mean, there is a lot of people promising gaming PCs for like the cost of the console. That's scrap. Like if you buy that, you're not gonna get an experience even on par with the console. Uh,
Right.
we're looking at the possibility of actually having a good gaming PC for like the $600 range, which is close to what you'd to a console, and someone may actually think, oh yeah, let's spend like $200 more and get a PC. So why not? Especially now that consoles are starting to get, if we start getting like mid generation updates stuff like that, some people are gonna maybe tell, what since I get updates on consoles, so why don't I just get a PC and get better gaming?
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So actually jumping on the Windows more probably going to be a good thing for Xbox, especially if they keep them together like really tightly bound.
Yeah, Graxaplan also added, aside from just games, that they said also apps could possibly be coming to Xbox, which
Yeah.
makes sense as well. That there's, especially we've seen with other games having mods and things like that. So there's definitely more kind of PC console merging happening.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
All right. So
We move to Sony.
Yeah, I think we have to move on to Sony. I'm going to start off. I'm going to throw the gauntlet down and already make my big prediction for them. And, I mean, this one's really out in left field. But I think how they're going to end it, if it's not with a new console announcement, which I highly doubt for the end because they would want to explain that, is we're going to see Kojima's, just the title card for Kojima's game, maybe with a date. Like,
is it gonna just come out? Is it gonna come out and pat the back of Sean Layman like, I'm a king?
Yeah, just something like that. You know, it'll say like 2020, and then maybe the title of the game or the project
I think
name.
it's gonna be earlier than that. I think it's coming earlier than 2020.
I don't even think they would say 2020 because I think that's way too far out. I think for them to even promise. So, I mean, not that it won't come by then, but I think it's just like saying, it's like saying, oh, hey, this will come out in like 5 years from now. It's just
right.
Yeah, sure. Okay, people are gonna go. Okay, well, thank you much for telling us.
That's like with the Final Fantasy 7 HD, you know, the remaster, where they're like, people know that's not coming out for like a while, but it's like, don't dash.
That's actually coming up pretty early. I think it's gonna be 2017.
Oh, I think like the first.
You know what? I think we're gonna see more of that, for sure.
Okay.
And I think we're gonna get a release window, like maybe a year, and I think it's gonna be 2017. You know what? I know about my Kingdom Hearts fan friends are gonna be angry about it, and my camera went down again, and I'm gonna activate it again. But I think we're gonna get Final Fantasy VII Remake earlier than Kingdom Hearts 3.
I mean that breaks my heart to say, because I've been wanting Kingdom Hearts for a while, and if we don't get a release date this year, I'll be so mad. But I mean, Final Fantasy, I think there's a good chance.
Let me tell you, we're not gonna get one.
I'll take that bet. I think we're gonna get a Kingdom Hearts 3 date.
I hope so. I hope to God that we do, because I want that game.
I've had it pre-ordered on Amazon for like 4 years now.
I think it would make sense that at least the first part of the Final Fantasy remaster comes out next year, because I think next year's probably the 20th anniversary of the game.
It's episodic. Right? It's episodic, so for sure. Like
I think so.
They have that. Well, they could make a Kingdom Hearts 3 episodic too.
Don't break. No, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm done. I can't do this.
Sorry, I'm just being evil. I'm not thinking that.
I've been waiting 10 years for this game. It's like...
Just thinking it. When was Kingdom Hearts 3 announced?
When was it? It was officially announced in 2014, I think.
It was in that same conference,
when it was officially revealed. Yeah.
So it's not too long. Come on, it's been 2 years.
Well, since it was announced,
since Kingdom Hearts 2, it's been 10 years. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, but they didn't announce it. You didn't know that it was coming out.
They were working on it. We know.
Right. Did it end on? I feel like it ended on a cliffhanger.
What's that?
Oh, I said, did it end on a cliffhanger?
I'm not going to pretend I understand the story of Kingdom Hearts, because no one understands the stories of Kingdom Hearts games, because they make no sense. But
okay, let's think of it like this: the more doesn't finish games. So it's this year we're probably gonna hear that we're probably gonna have a video message at the conference. They're gonna say, "Oh yeah, it's coming," and then next year we're gonna hear that they changed the reactor and more switch to something else.
Right.
And they changed the engine. And no, I'm kidding. But yeah.
And then we'll hear they renamed it to Final Fantasy.
Ryan is becoming violent. I can see that his nostrils are flaring.
Getting so bad.
All right. So real predictions.
Please be excited.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dalo said Gravity Rush 2, which I think would be a fairly safe bet. Like, I think we would. Although, I don't know. That might be something we see more at, like, TGS or one of the Japanese-oriented shows. Yeah, I think...
The trailer?
Yeah, I think so. But I'd like to see... I love Gravity Rush, so even if we saw it at E3, I'd be very happy. So.
Oh, we'll see it. We're probably going to see a trailer, but I don't think it's going to be playable E3 yet. Probably going to play.
I don't think so.
And we're definitely gonna see Horizon Zero Dawn. Probably gonna hear if the rumors about the delay of that one are true. I'm pretty confident that they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think
because
so.
if they weren't, they would have announced by now. They would have like denied the rumor, stuff like that. And also that we have to admit that the one that leaked the rumor is the one that kind of leaked the existence of the game and what the
Right.
game was about to begin with. So I'd say that it probably has some pretty solid contact at the studio. So and it's a very ambitious game, so I'm not surprised. And it comes out when it comes out, and I'm pretty happy to wait for it, as long as it's a great game because it's probably my most anticipated game on PlayStation for I was anticipating more than Uncharted, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's also pretty safe we'll see Sony Ben's new game because we've been hearing
Dead
rumors
Don't
about
Ride?
that for that's at
Oh
least so far.
yeah!
So I think yeah, so I'm sure we'll probably see more of whatever that is. So
Right.
I'm reading Crash Bandicoot on the chat. That's iffy.
I know that's like I don't know. Like I mean, last year we got Final Fantasy, we got Last Guardian, we got Shenmue. We were like Half-Life 3 away from having like the perfect E3. So if we got a new Crash Bandicoot, then maybe. I
They
don't know.
keep
Oh, we
teasing
are
it
going
though.
to see
They
more
keep-
more
they
Last
keep-
Guardian.
They keep teasing it, so
Yeah, we are gonna see more The Last Guardian and more Shenmue for sure.
Right.
Yeah, you say they keep teasing Crash Bandicoot, but I don't think those are teases. I think a lot of people think that, like there are a lot of like on Twitter they always do those throwback Tuesday tweets, and people say, oh, they're teasing Crash Bandicoot. No, they're just
yeah. But
really
I think like with when was it? Was it a
Sure.
PlayStation? Was it a PlayStation experience with the shirt where he was wearing
Yeah.
that? And then I think even this year with Uncharted. Well, I guess spoilers. So I guess it's hard. So you
Yeah,
can
don't-
pretend I didn't say that. So
Done. But
All right.
yeah, maybe it was just trolling. You never know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
when I say they keep teasing, that's more what I mean, and I'm not sure whether they're doing it in the same way like Beatles kept referencing that, who was dead and who wasn't dead. But yeah, I don't think necessarily Crash Bandicoot's gonna. That would be a crazy announcement if it was. That
Yeah,
would
but
be the most
even if
LFG.
they bring a Crash Bandicoot back, it's not gonna be made by Naughty Dog. Pretty sure about
Yeah.
that. So what's the point?
Because they're working on
I mean,
Jack.
great. Huh?
Because they're working on
Sorry?
Jack and Daxter, obviously.
I'm Jack 4 obviously.
I mean, if it's not been, I mean, was Crash Bandicoot that good? That
the first
it's worth
three
bring-
are. The
Yeah,
first
but
three are.
is
For the
it
time.
that good on its own? I mean, as an IP, just the themes of the game and stuff like that, that it's worth being so excited about it to have
I
it
think
come back from another studio that's not Naughty Dog.
I think it's a big nostalgia, factor,
Yeah.
like because
It's
Crash
very
Bandicoot, because especially because Crash Bandicoot, when people think of PlayStation, I feel like he is like especially from that era of the '90s and the first PlayStation, it's like
Right.
what people think of, like alongside Tomb Raider, Metal Gear. It's just one of those
Spyro at the
Spyro,
time.
that too, yeah. I think for me, I'm hoping this is definitely more of a left field thing, but I hope we see something new from Sucker Punch.
Okay.
Because I feel
Yeah.
like they completed Infamous Second Son 2 years ago. They did First Light, and they've been kind of quiet since, at least as far as I know. So I hope maybe
Probably gonna
we'll
hear
be-
something from them. Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe
I hope
maybe
so.
just tease.
I hope something new. Like I'm just hoping for a completely new IP. As much as I love Infamous, I think it's time for them. I hope it's something new that we see from Sucker Punch. So
There have been rumors about the Spider game.
Spider-Man, yeah.
that too, yeah. Which I guess is kind of in the vein of Infamous and like a superhero type game. But even that, like if that,
Well, the property is kind of bound with Sony, so
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
awesome,
sense.
yeah.
I would like to see more of Detroit because it seemed very
yeah.
interesting. Definitely
Right.
something that came. I'm very much anticipating, and the last time we heard anything about it was the Paris Games Week. So, of course, we have to think about something because we still don't know what Sony is gonna do for its European conference. We still don't know if they're going to Paris Games Week again this year or if they're going to go to Gamescom. So we have absolutely no idea, and that there is a little like left field incognito, which is AGX, because EGX in London is going to have a trade part this year as well.
Mhm.
So that's another possible candidate, especially considering that Sony Europe is based in London. So we don't know. where Sony is going to go in Europe, but where Sony is going to go in Europe will also influence what they're going to show at E3. Because if they do Gamescom is pretty close to E3, so they're going to have to keep stuff for it. If they go Party Games Week, which is in close to November, of course they're going to be able to show a lot more at E3 because they're going to have new stuff to see in Europe. And while Microsoft has to keep stuff for Europe, if they still go to Gamescom, which I think they will, I don't know. So let's put it.
Right.
I know nothing. They still say nothing official, neither one way or the other. But if they still go Gamescom, they have to split pretty much their content because you don't pretty much generate content in 2 months, not as much. But yeah, we're gonna have to see what Sony splits between how Sony splits this content. Because if they go Paris Games Week, maybe we're gonna see Detroit at Paris Game Week more. Maybe playable something or something like that. But that's a big if. So a lot of things that maybe we expect may be coming later, and I definitely expect stuff like. I expect big surprise on the hardware front from them, of course. Probably gonna have their PlayStation Neo, or however it's called, PlayStation 4K, Neo, whatever. We're gonna see a ton of VR, like a shit crap ton of VR,
right?
Because that's their big thing for October. They've been ramping up for years, and if they don't if they don't beat the drum now, when can they do that? Right. Even if they think that VR, the most of the push for VR is going to be in shops, because that's something you got to have people to try.
Oh yeah, it's completely different.
They have a big partnership with GameStop going on. Like most of the major stores in the US and most of them in Europe as well. They're gonna have demo stations with the employees at GameStop are being trained to actually demonstrate VR and explain how it works, stuff like that. Put the headset on you and stuff like that.
I also hear that they're going to, along with that demonstration, be giving out a ton of head lice.
What?
Nothing. Just I wonder how head lice or pink eye may eventually. It's gonna be a news story at some point.
What? What are you talking about?
Just with putting on. He just means with a lot of people going into the stores and using the headset, like keeping them sanitized, and so people don't get sick and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty disgusting.
Yes, it is.
It also depends where you are. Like when I was in Tokyo, Tokyo Game Show, that was terrible because I was really like at the continuous cycle of people using those and
right.
Like they were actually slippery. It was very pleasant.
Oh, yeah. God.
When you actually have to try Headmaster with a slippery headset, that's not nice. Headmaster basically you have to throw headers. So that's already a game that's kind of iffy for a headset.
Yeah. This is probably a question more for Giuseppe, but do you think we'll see anything for Final Fantasy 15 and Persona 5? Because those are arguably probably the biggest.
Definitely Persona.
For sure. It's already announced that it's going to be at the show, so I'm not sure where it's going to be at the show. If it's going to be at PlayStation conference, probably.
I'm going to go with a left field prediction and say we get a Western release date for Persona 5.
Yeah, sure. I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to get Final Fantasy 15, but we're not going to see that much about it. Not at the conferences, because it's a big release, but we've shown everything of it. I don't know how much we're going to see more of that. It's probably going to see more about it on Square Enix or showings, like their live streams or like that.
Right.
Are they doing a conference again this year?
No, I don't know about it, but they didn't announce anything about it. I don't think so, because they have a lot of live streams. So.
And to be fair, their Square Enix conferences in the years past have not been that great.
I remember.
No. Like, come on.
I mean, they've been a little weird. Is like.
No, last year has been awesome with the Nier Automata and they announced quite a lot of things last year. Come on. they actually shown Kingdom
I
Hearts
think it was
3.
just more in terms of the presentation, like rather than the actual what was shown.
They
Can't
had
be worse than
Yoko Taro
EA.
with his mask. That was awesome.
EA was by far the worst. I mean, they're the
Oh
ones.
yeah, EA just continually is not really one of the better
Right.
ones. So
Okay, so I'm gonna throw in a few things myself. I think that we're gonna. I mean, these aren't huge guesses by any means, but I think we're gonna hear about that new Destiny expansion that's been rumored.
yeah.
They need to talk third parties at some point, and Destiny's still has that fan base where.
Yeah, Destiny,
They
I
should.
feel like is PlayStation's Call of Duty at this
Yeah.
point. I mean, like, yeah, they have Call of Duty now, pretty much, but
Right.
like, you know, I think they
Watch
occupy.
Dogs 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2 is pretty much confirmed, like almost confirmed. Like it's confirmed that it's coming this
Yeah.
year, but
Right.
they haven't shown it, so that's the last place where they can show it. So yeah, Watch Dogs 2.
yeah.
At which conference? It's probably gonna see.
I think
We're gonna see at Ubisoft conference, but we're gonna see also more of it. I think at Sony's or Microsoft as well.
Right. Yeah, I think they'll announce it at Ubisoft's, and then they'll show a little bit more at Sony's.
Possibly, yes.
Right. Also, there's a few trademarks that still haven't been used or announced. We're still looking. Days Gone, and what was the Sentinel was the other one that we still don't know about.
No idea what they are.
Also Judas from Take-Two, which possibly
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, possibly
Red Dead 3, whatever it is.
Right. Judas or something. Maybe. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been kind of leaked, kind of hinted at, not really announced yet. So I think we're going to be hearing a lot of stuff for E3.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have to talk about, there are three more conferences. There
of course.
Ubisoft, there is EA, and there is Bethesda. I'm not sure about Bethesda because unless they announced, well, they have Dishonored 2, but I don't see Dishonored 2 as a conference maker. Like they announced it already, so it's not a surprise. They pretty much have to announce a new Elder Scrolls by now.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, they still got some time.
Gonna be, yeah.
So what do they have?
I think what they're
I think we'll definitely see some news. Sorry, go ahead, Lou.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to get there, and on that stage, they're going to say, all right, everyone who bought Fallout 4 on PlayStation, mods are available right now. Because it is coming in June, and that would make for a decent announcement because there is a large player base.
Not the conference maker, though. You don't make a press conference with that.
No, there have been some rumors floating around about Prey 2 in particular was one thing where they said that I believe it was Arcane. I think they said was working on Prey 2, picking that up.
You're not the conference maker.
Dishonored 2?
I don't know. I think the only other studios I'm thinking of that might be working on things are probably Machine Games, which made Wolfenstein: The New Order. So possible either they're working on a new Wolfenstein game or they're working on something else.
The Evil Within. Who made that?
Tango Gameworks.
Yeah, them.
That one. Yeah.
Yes.
I hope not the Evil Within. I hope not the Evil Within.
I don't know.
I didn't really like Evil Within. So.
I don't see anything besides the new Elder Scrolls that has any punch to make an actual conference. Maybe I'm wrong about it, but I'm iffy about it. Like. I
just think it's
those games are all worthy games. Don't get me wrong. Those games are all worthy games.
Yeah.
But they are not
big money.
They're not something you'd make a big press conference for.
Right.
Like they need one punch hit, and I don't know what else could be in Bethesda's thing besides the new Elder Scrolls. Because pretty much their big games are Elder Scrolls and Fallout. All the rest is like it's great games sometimes, but they are kind of like on the side compared to their two big franchises. I don't know. I've heard it's going to be a lot of time before we announce. Oh, my camera went again. Before we announce the new Elder Scrolls, but I don't know. I think there is some room or at least these.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, new Elder Scrolls Online content is true, but that's also not a conference maker.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So let's move to EA.
Let's move to EA. What do we think EA's got up their sleeve?
The return of Pele to their conference again.
Come on, that was so awkward. I'm personally very much against this bringing the celebrity that has really nothing to do with games on stage. It's something everyone has been guilty of at sometimes.
Right.
I don't know if you remember the terrible, terrible, terrible stuff with Ubisoft and James Cameron.
No, but at the moment...
That's something that I really don't want to see anymore. Anyway,
Right.
I mean, the direct of Avatar, that was... Thank God. There was 1 hour of boredom. But the problem, like EA is going to have quite a lot of stuff in its thing. Like they definitely gonna have Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that today they kind of tease they're gonna kind of maybe show something about their 2018 titles.
Right.
Yeah.
They have some new IPs in the works. They have some action games in the work.
Right.
They're possibly gonna finally show us a little bit of their Star Wars games. They're working with the Emmy Hennig and Folks and Motive and Visceral. We're gonna see a lot more Battlefield 1. They're gonna see a lot more of gonna see something of Titanfall 2 for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we haven't
Honestly,
seen nothing yet.
I think they could just if they wanted to, they could just hang their hats mostly on Andromeda and Battlefield.
And Titanfall 2.
And Titanfall, and they'd be fine.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything yet about that. We're going to see some FIFA. They're going to see their sports title, of course, which I care nothing about.
Right.
But I'm sure some people care about them because they sell like a crap load. I just don't care about sport games.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely going to have some Titanfall. They're definitely going to have some Battlefield 1. They're going to have the big titles. We already pretty much know them, but I think they're going to come with some surprises. Maybe we're going to see something of the next game by developers of Unraveled.
Perhaps.
If you want to see how a skeletal Yarny looks like, I still didn't finish it.
Well, I think we're still having some issues with the camera right now.
Oh, really? So you can see me?
I cannot see
I cannot, yeah.
You can see my skeleton Yarny.
No, I can't, sorry.
Yeah, I'm in the process of making a Yarny, and I've been in the process of making it like for since before the game came out. But since they're gonna have a new Unraveled, it's not obsolete. Yay!
Right.
Yeah.
I still have time to finish it. A lot of time.
Yes, at least for the time being. Oh, actually, we're starting to get pictures now. Finally, thank God. But right now I just put our images on the ShockCast episode 7 thing. There we are. All right.
Can I see me now?
I can see you.
I can see you. I still can't see Ryan, but we're getting there.
Okay.
Slowly and surely.
Since you see me now I'm gonna show my skeleton Yarny. So.
All right.
This is my skeleton Yarny. So
that's terrifying.
It's half right.
That's legitimately horrifying.
It's awesome. Come on. Yeah.
How long ago did you start that?
I started it like before the game came out, but you know what? Wrapping this thing doesn't look like it, but it takes a ton of times.
Right.
Like really a ton of time, and my hands were hurting for the friction of all the yarn.
Right.
That's difficult thing to do. So yeah, I'm gonna probably finish it by when the next one comes out.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think they actually do need to do that. Like bring. It doesn't have to be, of course, the people from Coldwood Interactive, but that was pretty much undoubtedly the best part of their conference. I think Twitter-wise, social media-wise, people love talking about the Yarn guy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of EA's last conference was pretty boring up till that point. So it's gonna. I think that we will see him featured, or we will see another lovable indie creator featured.
Yeah, you know what? The problem with EA press conference, I'm not bashing the guy. So don't think that I'm bashing the guy personally. But EA CEO,
Right.
I like the way he thinks most of the times, but I don't know when he presents a conference, like it's too formal, a little bit too like
Hmm.
executive like. While
Right.
Sony and Microsoft mostly, and even Ubisoft at some point, I mean not as much because I mean Yves Guillemot is also a guy that's very executive like, but Yves Guillemot knows that, so he stepped back. He takes a step back and has an actual presenter doing his conference, which
Right.
is good. Andy Wilson is a great guy for his ideas. I think he actually did a great job with EA from when he stepped up, but is not a presenter, and he comes out as very much executive like, and he gives the whole conference a tone that's a little bit more boring than the other
Right.
ones. I mean, even Sean Layden, Sony's he's an executive, so he's not
Right.
terribly good at presenting,
Right.
but he's helped by a ton of people. Like Sony brings a ton of people on the show, and even Sean Layden doesn't really take himself but very much seriously on stage. So it's kind of still okay. While you see Andrew Wills coming very elegant, like with his very snazzy suits, and he's very like very formal like, and that kind of brings the tone a little bit more to the too serious in the conference. I don't know, that's my impression. Microsoft is great because Microsoft just he has Phil Spencer on a shirt. Phil
Yeah.
Spencer is awesome at presenting everything. Phil Spencer has been the right choice for everything in
Yeah.
Microsoft. So like he comes up with a
And
shirt, happy, like he's a gamer, and everyone knows he's a gamer. Like you don't know how much other executive, like besides Yoshida,
yeah.
uh, you don't know how much they game. They say that they game, but you don't see them on on your console.
Right.
If you have them, you follow them on your friend list. You don't see them playing games. Every time I log in my console, I see P3, which is Phil Spencer nickname. I see him playing something.
Right.
So, so he plays a lot of games, and you see it that he has the enthusiasm.
Right. Maybe that's
On
just
the other
like an
hand,
intern's job. He hires like an intern. It's like, I need
no,
you to be on my console and literally be playing games 24/7.
Be the
well, that's
best.
a
Where
possibility.
can
But
I?
when you talk to him, and you actually notice that he's a gamer. You mean
Right. Yeah.
that's something
Of course.
it's hard to fake.
It's the demeanor.
Uh,
I just
yeah,
want to know where
it's
to
like
apply for that
Yoshida.
internship.
Yeah. Can I get a job too? I'd be okay with a job like that.
Right.
Yeah, Sean, Dollar Airlines one says that Sean Lawrence has gotten better over the years, and yes, he has. Uh, his first E3 was a little awkward, but that's normal. I mean, they never did that, so
Right.
I would have been pretty nervous myself.
Yeah, for
Right.
But
sure.
yeah, between E3 and also PlayStation Experience, you have gotten quite a few chances to improve.
Right.
Back talking about, we're still missing Ubisoft, by the
Yes, we
way,
are. By
which is
the
gonna
way,
be, yeah.
I think that the quick solution for EA just having a good presenter is to hire Mr. Caffeine back.
Oh,
But all right, so we gotta talk Ubisoft. We mentioned Watch Dogs 2. Um, and
different tone, different stuff. Probably
right,
gonna be a lot less serious
right,
because, yeah, you know what? I loved Watch Dogs on that one. It was a good game. It had good ideas. I really liked it. It had some awesome graphics. The gameplay was nice and all that. Uh, the problem was that the protagonist was a little too serious. It was like a very stereotype. I mean, it was a space marine without the space.
right,
It was the bald space marine without the space and being bald.
right.
So pretty much losing all the charm of it.
Yeah,
And the actually charming characters didn't get much space.
right.
So we're probably gonna get a better protagonist, hopefully, maybe a
Hopefully.
better story. But I think that Ubisoft knows when they make a mistake and they kind of try to remedy it.
Right.
So I expect a lot of difference from this time around. I don't think we're gonna hear much about Assassin's Creed.
Really?
Possibly a little tease about the next. Well, it's not no Assassin's Creed coming next this year, so
Yeah, but
unless
maybe they want to build up the hype.
I don't know. They have stuff to present. They have For Honor.
I'd hope that they take a break from Assassin's Creed just because I think they know that people are getting a little sick of it. So hopefully this year they just focus on Watch Dogs, and maybe next year they'll bring back Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have For Honor. Come on, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
For Honor is probably one of my must-see titles as well. It looks incredible, and
they have
I'm very
fractured
excited to play
butthole.
it. Hmm?
They have fractured butthole.
What?
I forgot about that. The new South Park game.
Yeah. I don't care about South Park. Never cared about South Park in my life, so that I leave that to you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. I mean,
I'm excited for it. Stick of Truth was like I didn't expect to like Stick of Truth, I think, as much as I did. So when I heard about Fractured Butthole, aside from just the name of it, which is fantastic, but
is it really cool like that?
Yep, it's called the Fractured Butthole. It's like...
Yeah, as in fractured butthole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I got it. I swear, never got it until now.
Right. But I really enjoy that they're bringing it back. I think that they did a terrific job with the first one. One of the very few games that really kept me laughing the entire time, even if I, wasn't the biggest fan of the gameplay, which I think was, frankly, very shallow and just ripping off of RPGs. I think that they've learned a lot of lessons, or at least they've said they've learned a lot of lessons, so I'm excited to see where that goes, and I think that might have a pretty prominent spot.
Possibly. Anything else? Do you have any other big thing coming from Ubisoft? Oh, they have a new IP. They have a new thing that they say they're going to show it at E3, and who knows what it is. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna show it, but what is that? We don't know. We have no idea.
I'm hesitantly gonna say Far Cry 5, although I kind of hope they don't show it because I feel like Far Cry is getting a little overplayed right now. So
does that count as a new IP?
A new IP, so
not as a new IP, but I mean as like something that they could potentially show. I think is
I don't know.
New IP. I'm trying to think of something that they don't already have the bases covered on, because I mean they already have kind of wilderness exploration, first-person shooting, third-person adventure climbing. Do they have space?
It's gonna be an open world something because
open
they
world?
always do open world. I mean, they only do the open world. So
yeah,
every conference call they do, it's like, oh, we are great at doing open world. We do 1 million open worlds every year. Yay! So,
yeah,
right.
So they're probably gonna be another open world because they're all open worlds.
Dalo and Graxplon brought up some good points. They said, "Do you guys think we'll see a new Child of Light?" Ooh. And Dalo said, "What would they say about the Division? If we'll see more Division stuff?"
I hope they don't talk
Division 2.
No, please
or maybe I think just new content. I think because I feel like the Division we'll see some new content for that. Possibly. Child of Light, I don't know. I think I like Child of Light a lot, but I don't think they're gonna do anything with that or anything in that vein where it's kind of more of a smaller like indie-ish sort of title.
They're gonna announce something, I think.
I think something, yeah.
But I don't know if it's gonna be Child of Light 2 or something else. It kind of every big publisher kind of likes to bring some indie-like stuff.
I think we'll see something
even if
that's
it's not indie, something that looks like indie,
like Unravel. Like I think something sort of on those lines. Like I would love a new Rayman, but it's just my hopes in Rayman drop because of those games are great, but they never sell well, which is unfortunately I don't know. I love Rayman Origins and Legends. I hope we see one, but
right. All right. So I think we covered all of the conferences. So yeah, I think we had a ton of great predictions. Maybe we should move on to the review roundup. How's that sound? Or do you want to throw in one more?
It's getting late. We can throw something next week as well.
Of course,
if you want. But
there will be more leaks.
Yeah, there will be
more leaks. I'm just reading something about a Red Dead Redemption 2 or remastered screenshot leaked, but I'm not sure. I just looked at it. I'm not sure how legit that is. So, but we'll see.
Just look at DualShockers as soon as you hear this. if you're listening to the podcast, we'll tell you if it's true or not.
I don't know. I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna hold up on that one because there is no way to know if the logo on it looks crap. So I don't know.
Right. All right. So we're gonna go straight into review roundup, and we're gonna talk about some of the bigger reviews we had this week, pretty quickly because it has been a longer episode. I'm gonna start off with the Overwatch review. I told you last week I was gonna give you a sneak peek. Sneak peek, and I said it was great.
You're a sneak prick, Louis. And you're fired.
Always, because I can't speak. But I said Overwatch is great. It was amazing. Go buy it before the review comes up. And the review came up, and I gave it a 2. No, I gave it a 9.5. It was as good as I was making it out to be. At least that's in my opinion. I know that we were having some debate, Ryan, back and forth about what the shortcomings were, what was good, what was bad. And for the most part, everything was very good. I still play it. Like, clearly, I'm a person who really enjoys single player. This game doesn't have single player. It's somewhat disheartening, especially because of how great the characters are. With that said, I've already put more time, at least 3 times the amount of time than I've put in any Uncharted game.
But did you put time and money in it, or just time?
Just time. I haven't spent anything I haven't spent a dime on microtransactions.
I'm hearing quite a lot of people complaining about the box drops.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I did that was the one or two major things I've added in my complaints is that they need to add some quality of life improvements, maybe like an objective every day. Did you play Hearthstone at all, Giuseppe?
Yeah, I did, and I stopped because that was. You know that I am not a big Warcraft fan.
Yeah.
And I played it because I needed something to play on mobile while I was out of the house, so I tried it. It's a good game, definitely. But yeah, they have their dailies and their stuff like that.
Exactly.
That definitely is a good way to keep people interested. Because at the moment, from what I'm hearing of Overwatch, is kind of missing this kind of stuff. Like progression is kind of flat.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, I think on the one hand, it's nice that it's not that it's just cosmetics, so it's not anything that's affecting gameplay. But at the same time, it's also kind of lacking that thing that's going to keep you coming back. I think for the kind of stuff you get from like Call of Duty, or where you feel like you're earning stuff that's actually useful and makes you feel like you're getting progress.
But even if you're not getting something useful for a game, even if it's just cosmetic stuff, probably is that it stops coming after a while, kind of, right?
It caps off.
That's the main complaint I'm hearing.
There's a lot of stuff in there, but I think it's mostly just that if you're not doing the microtransactions, it does take a very long time to get boxes. Yeah.
Like after a while, the game is its own reward, which kind of is okay, but I don't know for many if it's okay.
Right. It caps off specifically at level 23, and there's 100 levels. So after level 23, it's the same amount. And I believe it was Polygon who tried to estimate exactly how long in gameplay it would take to get a loot box by getting the next level, and it was about 80 minutes, and that is too long.
That is a long time, yeah.
Because I think that you should be able to get one if you go sit down and play, even for like an hour, but I would say 30 minutes. If you're sitting there playing dedicated for 30 minutes and doing a good job, I think there should be enough turnaround. If that's done via quests or through maybe in competitive mode, if you get more for winning when that comes out, like if you get more experience by beating people of similar standing as you, that would even help. But at the moment, that's the one major fix I think, is they need to work on progression.
Yeah, the big problem is that in the end, even this kind of games always has this. I kind of call it welfare rewards.
Right.
Basically, the dailies and stuff like that. That even if you're not that good, they keep you coming.
Right.
And that's a good thing to have. Right. I'm sure that the super competitive players say, "Oh no, you need to be good to get rewards." But that's the good people, the good players, do not make the bulk of the player base of any game. So you're gonna give people stuff to keep them interested, even if the game is very good. Nowadays, that's pretty much the culture. So that's missing, and I don't know. Right. I haven't played it, so I'm just going by what I hear. because I don't have time for a shooter. It's just not my kind of game.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's enough Overwatch talk for the moment. Meanwhile, Ryan, you did Kirby Planet Robobot, right?
You got it right. Yeah, it's Robobot and not Robot. Like I kept. It's really hard to say that title. But anyway, I did play Kirby Planet Robobot, which is a new Kirby game for 3DS. That kind of stealth released almost because it just got announced in March of this year. So I feel like it's kind of been under the radar. But if you're looking for something fun for your 3DS, it's definitely a good purchase. I gave it an 8.0 on in a review. And pretty much, I think my only main criticism is that it's kind of easy. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more of a challenge, you're probably better with sticking with a Fire Emblem or something along those lines rather than Kirby. But if you're looking for something that's really fun and just easy on the eyes, I think Robobot's really fun, especially because the big new thing that they.
3DS.
What's that?
Easy on the eyes on 3DS.
I mean, it's very bright, it's very colorful, it looks great on 3DS. I know, Giuseppe, I know.
That's a very big disclaimer.
But I think the mech suit, which is kind of the big new addition to the game, is really fun. It's a cool little power up where basically Kirby gets in a giant mech suit and he has to destroy things while also being adorable at the same time. And the mech suit can also copy the abilities of enemies and things like that. So you can get the sword power. They have a whole bunch of new ones in there, like the poison ability. But you can read more of the review. It's great, and I really recommend it if you want to play something on your 3DS.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that whole criticism about it being easy, I think if you're getting a Kirby game, you kind of expect that. Isn't that the whole point of why? Isn't that what Kirby's for? It was made for people who are just beginning to play video games?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's something I think that's aimed a little bit more at a younger audience. So
Right.
I think if you're someone, older, or looking for something that's a little bit more challenging,
Right.
you may want to look for something else. But if you're just looking for something that's light and fun and a good time, like, it's not a bad choice either.
All right. So I think we can move on from there. And I've got some disappointing news, Giuseppe.
What?
There is no 8-bit idiot this week.
That's okay.
I don't know whether to celebrate that.
There have been some silly stuff, but in the end, nothing that's worth making this podcast longer than 2 hours for.
That's the good point. But yeah, everyone gets a free pass this week. Good job.
It's gonna come back. It's around.
Yes, next week, absolutely, someone's gonna do it. For E3, there's going to be a site misquoting things or someone making a weird statement or an interview going wrong.
Someone being stupid on stage, because that always happen.
Yeah.
Like some presenters that are like that.
We might have our first 8-bit idiot with a video segment. So we'll
we'll see. We had the video segment.
Yeah,
last
we
time.
did actually. Good point.
Your memory is faulty, my friend.
So we're going to go on to upcoming games coming up, wrap things up. Ryan, do you want to read some of the upcoming games?
Yeah, sure. I'll go through. So for this coming week, we have Turn On for Xbox One, Kick and Fennec for PS4, Dangerous Golf for PS4 and Xbox One, Carmageddon Max Damage for PS4 and Xbox One, Daydreamer Awakened Edition for PS4 and Xbox One, Hard Reset Redo for PS4, Anima Gate of Memories for Xbox One, Hearts and Slash for Xbox One, Edge of Nowhere for PC/Oculus Rift, Hearts of Iron 4 for PC, Atelier Sophie, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Book. Did I say that right? Or
I think so.
Okay, I think so. I hope so. For PS4 and Vita, MXGP2 for PS4, Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator for PS3 and PS4. I can never say those games titles right. Mirror's Edge Catalyst for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, Assetto Corsa for PS4 and Xbox One. I'm gonna have a hard time with this one. Odin Sphere Life Thricer for PS3, PS4, and Vita. Giuseppe's probably gonna fire me right now for saying that wrong, probably.
Go ahead.
Anyway, Paragon for PS4, SteamWorld Heist for PS4 and Vita, and Anima Gate of Memories for PS4. So pretty light, not a ton coming out, but it's also E3 is coming, so it's gonna be a lighter month.
Yeah. Also,
it looks like we just got in the first trailer of Akiba's Beat. Which is the pretty much sequel of Akiba's Trip. Just revealed like 2 minutes ago, so yeah. Come on, let's wrap it up. I need to go write news.
Okay. Yeah, we'll finish this up real quick. If you want to, of course, go see the Odin Sphere Left Riser review. That's up right now. We gave it a 9. Also up this week, besides the reviews that we mentioned, we have Homefront: The Revolution, which is not as awesome, but go and read the review. It's we bring up some good points. Let's do the social media and site plugs. If you're looking for DualShockers, you can find us on almost any social media account, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, by just putting in DualShockers. YouTube and YouTube we're a bit different. We're youtube.com/DSTV Originals. Finally, you can come watch us at twitch.tv/DualShockers Live every Wednesday at 8:30. Come enjoy the show. Win some stuff. We didn't do the giveaway today, though we are doing the beta keys.
If you want one of those codes, tell Ryan in the chat. It's for PC, of course, and it will give you one
for the closed beta.
So we definitely have enough for you all. So tell Ryan in the chat, and he'll give you one.
Also, if you're listening to this, you can go comment on the article or comment on the YouTube video, and we'll make sure to get you one there too. Last but not least, you can find round-the-clock news coverage, reviews, features, editorials, all of that great stuff. You can go see that trailer, which we just talked about, over at DualShockers.com. They keep the lights on for the podcast. And that's everything. Thank you for being part of the technical difficulties ShockCast. You can find me over at Twitter at Luke and Taldy. Ryan, where can they find you?
They can find me in various corners of the internet, but if you want to get in touch with me, I'm on Twitter at Ryan Meitzler. It's just my name, so it's pretty easy.
And Giuseppe, you don't like saying your name?
You can read it down there.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. We're gonna try doing the music. So let's try that.
See you all.